So, as I said, we're going to get started on, because of time, I want to respect your time, but also if there's anything specific you want to ask at the end, you're welcome to put that in the comments in the chat box or unmute yourselves when we're all done. But basically what I'm going to just talk about with this, and I printed it out, and I meant to post the link. It's super wrinkly because it's well loved in my home. But the compensation plan obviously can be found in your Trades of Hope back office in the toolbox. And so if you're not sure what I'm referring to, you can pull it up while I'm talking. I'm not offended at all by that, or if you have it printed out. But it's really a helpful tool to have printed out and have it available for you to see, especially if you're kind of goal setting, if you're trying to look ahead at things that you want to achieve. And of course, here we're getting started, and my daughter's crying really loud upstairs. I apologize for that. But basically what I just want to talk about is basically a comp plan, how you get paid, why you get paid, and then how much more you could potentially be paid if that's a need and a desire for what you have with this business. Obviously, we know that right away as Compassionate Entrepreneurs partners, we earn a base 25% commission on all of our sales. And that happens right away. You don't have to rank up. You don't have to hit any of that to have that happen. Also, one thing that makes us unique that a lot of other companies like us don't have is that we get paid right away when a sale happens. A lot of other companies, like you have to wait till like the 10th of the month or something till you receive your compensation from your sales. So that's something that I think is really special too, especially if you know people that are needing maybe some immediate income. Be like, well, you could go out and have a party and you could have money right away that night if needed. But from that being said, we obviously get paid for the work we do to allow individuals the opportunity to share what we're doing. We have had that discussion, right? The whole brand ambassador thing. You are an ambassador for these artisans. You receive compensation for helping to get the word out about their work. We're not volunteers at this. Honestly, if we were volunteers, I would not be able to do this probably 6 years later and at the capacity that I do in terms of the time and the, the efforts that I put in, just even traveling, thinking about going to parties and gas mileage. I mean, any of that, catalogs, those are all things that you need to make your business work. But that was a big thing for Holly. I remember one of our founders right away, seeing her sister who was a missionary, trying to bring home these goods from where they were serving and trying to sell them. And they would just sit in suitcases at churches that they left them at because people didn't have that. I don't want to say that buy-in, but in a sense that, like the skin in the game, the connection to it, to help it keep that longevity. And so honestly, by receiving compensation for our efforts, it also focuses on the partnership that we have with our artisans. It focuses on that dignity that we're able to support our families and our needs while they're doing the same things, obviously, for their families in the countries that we partner with. So keep that in mind, that you are compensated for your efforts and your work. That's part of that dignity for you as well, and that longevity piece. And then, of course, how is it possible you could be paid more through this? I'll be very frank, money and numbers is not my strength. Like, my husband is a math teacher, and I'm really grateful for that God saw it fitting that he would come alongside me. But I do recognize it is really nice. And even from when I was teaching, to be valued, hey, your experience and your work over time, like that adds value to you and what you bring to our school or to this work. And I think that's part of it too with Trades of Hope, is the gift of, hey, you're doing the work, you're out there, you're promoting, you're sharing, you're telling stories. Yeah, we want to thank you through the compensation for what you do, but hey, if you're able to do more, you have the opportunity to receive more, because we see that your efforts are contributing to the collective work. And we see that, oh, you're inviting others, that sounds very redundant. We're inviting others to do the same work as you. You're helping to train and lead and connect and use your time to support others in this work as well. Hey, we want to compensate you for that effort. And so that's one thing that's really nice about the plan that we have, is that it can go both ways. And again, that's really unique. I haven't seen that. Not that I look around at other companies, but it's something that I know that sets us apart a little bit with Trades of Hope. So, sorry, my dogs might bark. I apologize for that. When you look at it though, you're like, okay, I started out at my 25%. That's great. We're going to just talk about averages tonight. So an average Trades of Hope party is $500, usually an in-home party. Generally, the Facebook parties are about $300. Again, we all know that can give and take. That's not set in stone, but we're going to go off averages just for the sake of this tonight. But you think about, okay, so we're going to go off someone who decides to do 2 parties a month, 2 $500 parties, $1,000 a month. Like that's their goal. That's what they're shooting for. That's what they're consistent at. So of course, you know, if you're doing that, you're going to be a qualified compassion entrepreneur. It's the first level, even on the ranks. And we're like, what does that even mean? I think it's just nice to have a title. It was something you're like, oh, I became a qualified compassion. What does that even mean? Well, it just means you have effort and in $1,000 with it, which is a lifetime thing even. You've hit that level. If you sell $1,000 in a month, you have just earned 25% off that, which is $250. So even right there, letting somebody know, if you have 2 or 3 nights a month that you can commit to this work, you could be earning on average $250 a month. That can make a difference for people. I think we don't need, it might not sound like a lot, but honestly, it does make a difference. It's car payments. It could be insurance. It could be a variety of things at that level. Kids' needs, back to school stuff, gifts at holiday time. So just keep that in mind as you're sharing what, like on average, $250 a month. Now, when you look at lead compassion training, like, okay, really, what does 1% more mean? Why does that even worth pushing for or making a difference? Why would I want to promote to that? Again, this very first column is just your own efforts. That's just based on your, or excuse me, I apologize, not the first column, the second column, or the third. You guys help me. It's only Monday night. We're in trouble. No, the one here that says rank route option 2, personal sales. We'll start with that. Obviously, you could do this on your own. So you could sell $1,500 and get 26% off your own personal sales, which if that was the case, I was doing the math earlier, that would earn you $390. But let's say you didn't have the opportunity to add another party and you didn't have another month, you didn't get $1,500, but you were consistent with your $1,000. Well, then if you had another individual that said, hey, I want to be a partner with you too. I want to be an ambassador for this work. And she came on and she sold, we'll say $500. You sold your $1,000. So collectively, you two did $1,500 in sales for the month of June. You would earn 26% off of that $1,000 you did, so $260. And then you would also get an additional 4% from her sales. One thing I want to clarify here is that when you start building a team, that team, Trades of Hope has already paid the CE, like her rank, her 25% or up to 30%. So when you look in your back office, there's a thing where it says like retail value, wholesale value, commissionable value. When you look at the different, like from a sale or something or in your order history, and when people are like, what's commissionable? That means that is the value that your upline is paid their percentages on. So it's not the full retail value. So if like somebody sold a $10 bracelet, not that we have that, her sponsor would be getting paid on $7, the percentage on $7, not the full $10, because that CE already earned like up to that 30% on that $10. Does that make sense to everyone? So when you're looking at numbers, you're like, oh, this doesn't seem to add up to me. It's because of that commissionable value that you get from the team total. So that was something I wanted to make sure I highlighted. So all that to say, you're doing the same amount of work. You're doing 2 parties a month, selling your $1,000, but you have this awesome team member that's doing 1 party a month, selling $500. you just earned $275 versus $250 because just doing the same amount of work, because you had somebody else doing her job and fulfilling her passion and her desire with Trades of Hope. It's just really cool. And you're working with her, you're supporting her in the ways that she needs. Next up would be ACE, Advanced Compassion Entrepreneur. Here, it's kind of big. It jumps 2% or 3% more. You get 28% on your personal sales. So at an ACE level, I would say in terms of your commitment to, you might be doing a little extra messaging to help people here and there. I want you to always remember you're never responsible. If you start to sponsor and invite people into this work, you are not responsible for their businesses. I want you to take that stress and that pressure off, because I know I own it a lot. I want everyone that does this or agrees to dance with me and be a partner with me in this to have the success that they want and they need. But I always want to remember it's their goals and their desires. It's not mine for them. They have to have that for themselves. But also they are adult women. They have access and tools like I do, and that I'm here to support them. I'm here to encourage and connect when they need and to reach out, but I'm not responsible for her business. So please keep that in mind always when you look at these, I don't know, I think sometimes that paralyzes people too from asking, because you're just like, you feel that already. And I just want you to have freedom and understanding that we're in this together. We are not by ourselves in this work, but we also are accountable to each other in the sense of support. And we don't want to blame up and we don't want to blame down for things not working the ways that maybe we want or see. And there is, so to answer what sponsoring is basically when you have somebody that says, hey, I want to do this too. They join, they sign up under you. So like your sponsor, Amy, would that be, I should know this, but I don't. Like whoever you joined under, she's your sponsor. So sponsoring would be you doing the same and somebody saying, hey, I want to do this with you. You would be their sponsor. Does that make sense? More or less. Okay. And we can, we can talk about that more. And I'll be honest too, sometimes it just like I did not know my sponsor before Trades of Hope. I randomly found her through Facebook and she was in my area. She had just joined the month before. And we're just like, hey, we're going to figure this out together. And there's a lot of people that don't know and they're not sure. And that's why, again, we have our team pages. We want to invite people into those spaces where they can feel connected. They can have that. We have different leaders on our team, of course, that run things and help and support. So it's not all on you either. Please keep that in mind. And especially for myself as your director, like I do take that responsibility on to making sure to create those spaces where everyone has those resources. But all that to say, so ACE, again, let's say you're doing the same amount of work, but now you're going to have 2 branches doing their 500 and you're still doing your 1,000 a month. You're going to be earning $310. Again, same amount of work, you'd be earning $310. Master, same thing, 2 parties a month, but your branches, you have now 4 people that said, hey, I want to do this with you. We call those branches. You would be earning, Master, $395 a month. Again, that's you just doing your 2 parties a month, but you're showing and encouraging people how to do the same based on what they desire and need. And then, of course, if you hit that manager level, that's where you are invited to be on some meetings with the founders. It's like every other week you might be sending maybe some happy mail, some love to some of your team members and encouraging. Again, that's all up to you. It's all optional, but those are things that as you kind of start to rise maybe in leadership that you want to do because you want to encourage, you want to support in different ways. And if you were at that manager level, same thing, selling $1,000 a month, but you had those other branches, you would on average be earning $660 for your 2 parties a month. And then, of course, as you promote, you can still be doing that 2 parties a month. But I will say, when I first started, I definitely did more than 2 parties a month. I want to keep that clear though too. But I wanted you to understand, like, your effort can be consistent and the same, but if you add that component of sponsoring, that is where you can start with the same effort that you're able to give, possibly earn a little bit more than what you maybe be doing at just the basic compassionate level with $1,000 in personal sales. That's why it can kind of make a difference. But more than anything, what happened for me, I became a CE in February. I didn't ask anybody to join. I was hesitant. I was scared. I didn't know what entirely I was doing. My first compassion entrepreneur to work with me was my dear friend Jocelyn, who's now a missionary in Mexico. She joined in June. So that's several months where I didn't think about it or really want to do it. I just was hesitant to. And then my dear friend Becky Lyle enrolled shortly thereafter. And then I went to Haiti in September. I think I went as a master, and we had a different comp plan at the time. And when I saw those women, and when I saw like, oh my goodness, like this, I believe I can do a lot. I really believe in that quote, I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone. I believe I can be that stone caster and create those ripples. But I am also only just one person. And if I could invite other women to do the same and duplicate that power, that ripple would not just be a ripple, like it would be a wave, and that is where I've learned and really believed it's beyond, it has to be beyond me. It has to go beyond me. And it's only going to do that if I invite other people to look at it and want to do it too, and not be fearful in my own right of not asking them because I'm scared of what they're going to think of me, or I'm scared they're going to think I'm the crazy Trades of Hope lady, jewelry lady, whatever. But that was a shift, and I had to make that mental shift and have to realize the outcome. It's not about me. It's about creating more, amplifying these voices for our artisans through more voices. And that's what we need. And I think we're starting to see a shift kind of come over into that. And yes, a tsunami. And I would say, Catherine, like at this point, ladies, like 6 years, and we have over 1,000 individuals, in the Hot House Nation. Of course, some have gone over time, others have come in. I don't say that in any way that I feel like boastful or proud of that. I just realized like, okay, I just want to be obedient in the opportunities, Lord, and just give me that courage, that 20 seconds of insane courage to ask others when I need it. But to let it not be about me. And I think that's more than anything what's important to remember with this. And that's why Trades of Hope has also set up the compensation plan. And you'll notice as you rise in rank, there is a little more responsibility in terms of your personal sales for you to hit that rank. Because they want to see you, because when you are having parties, you are out there meeting people, you are out there sharing the message, you're getting in front of more eyes, and you're staying consistent in your work, and you need to stay engaged and consistent with your work if you're going to help others in it as well. And I've kind of learned that over time, that that's really valuable. So Catherine, your question is just how to get there for yourself. And are there opportunities for more of us to join leadership? Yes, we need, I love the women, like getting to have that time, like weekly, we have these calls, but it is so fun when there's just more perspectives and when there's more voices, even in that level. Yeah. I feel like we're just like, it's like this big right now in terms of that leadership. Like there's so much more room. So yeah, it is doable, but I would say we had a training once, and I don't want to scare anyone, but it was like really focusing on 8 parties a month. If you wanted to grow, you were looking for 8 parties a month consistently to get the word out, build up your sales, get in front of more people, because that's really what it's about. It's a numbers game more than anything. It's about making sure that you're having a variety of people to talk to. And so Facebook can be great because you can meet people from all over the country through it. It's harder because you're trying to build relationships with people through a computer screen, which can be challenging. But I would say the best part is when you can get belly to belly and getting out when you can. I know you have a baby right now, and that can be challenging, and with your daughter's medical needs and stuff like that. But oh, the snail's pace. And that has been my motto too. I want to be the tortoise. I don't want to be the hare. I really do. I talk with Jamie Jerger. She's another director in our nation all the time. And I said, let's be the tortoise. Like, let's be strong and consistent and get there. I don't want to be like some of those companies that like blow up really fast and then they're like here for a hot minute and then they're gone. You know, like that happens a lot. And it might be fun for the time, but it's not, we're still here. You know, we're coming up on our 9-year company anniversary in September. And it's really exciting what we've seen transpire in the last 9 years, which is kind of crazy, almost a decade. But I think that it's that consistent effort and just sticking with it. And yeah, being in it for the long haul, because I cannot imagine like if anything ever happened to us, which it's nothing foreseeable, obviously, with Trades of Hope, but I can't ever imagine like our doors shutting and how that would impact not even us, like I'm losing my connection with you ladies in that sense, but also for the artisans. You know, we are that marketplace for them. And I could never imagine what that would translate to them. And so that's what keeps me going for sure. And is a big reminder to me of like, again, it's not about me, but, which might seem weird to say as we're talking about compensation plan. And I want you to recognize you have needs and financial needs too, and dreams that you want to see realized here. And that's where I really continue to focus on the beauty of that partnership. But this is how we are, that word compensation, like you are, I don't want to say rewarded, but that's how you receive benefits too for yourself to make this keep going. And to make it sustainable. And that's ultimately the best goal we can have for women here in the US, our neighbors, people that are staying up at night, wondering how they're going to pay their bills because it's happening, or women that are in careers that they are struggling with and like just tired of and wish they could find a way out, but they don't have an alternate source of income, or needing something flexible with schedules. This is really viable, and this is something that can happen for them. And so I think we need to be more bold and just recognizing that too within 4 people. And obviously, as you look at the comp plan, some of those numbers I gave didn't go all the way down like into the levels. So even at that manager level, like that 60, that's just a base. Again, please know it's just a very baseline average. There are definitely managers that are earning more than $660 a month. And if you have, again, specific numbers that you need, like that's where I call in my math husband, Paul, and he'll give you different scenarios. If you want, we can work through that to be like, okay, you need to earn, you know, $1,000 a month yourself. This is what you would need to either happen, like have your X number of parties, your $4,000 in sales a month, which is doable, or this is how it can happen with a team, and how can we start helping you share and grow that effort. So that's what I would love to talk about. But that, I feel our conversation's more better for one-on-one, because you're all going to have different needs. So if you have that and you want to speak to that, please message me and we can set up a time to discuss and get those numbers and look at a plan to support those goals that you have. Is that helpful? Just an overview. Like I said, I would really encourage you to print this off just so you can kind of see and get an idea of, you know, what that can mean. And the nice thing is that our branches now to qualify are $300 in personal sales. They used to be $1,000. And so that $300, I love that it focuses again on what our home team has told us is the sustainable value for our artisans. So it just makes sense that they would translate that to the plan. And also, please recognize that at any level, if you have a team, you need to have a minimum, again, lead is the first level, a minimum of $300 on sales for yourself that month to receive compensation from your team. And that's what I like about Trades of Hope too, is because they're recognizing, hey, you're still connected to this, you're leading by example, That's how you're compensated and rewarded. You can't just like sit back and sponsor a ton of people and just be like, oh, let them do all the work. Like that's where that whole pyramid scheme stuff kind of comes in, and we're not about that. So I love that they encourage us to stay engaged with our business, because that's how we're going to support our teams. And that's how you receive compensation from them. So keep that in mind too, as you start to grow and build, that you have those minimums to keep. Another question. What does it mean when you are marked as a qualified, compassionate entrepreneur from a higher level, still selling over $300 though? So I'm not sure if I'm understanding that fully, Megan. What I do know is that our ranks, they adjust by month. So you can have a lifetime rank of, let's say, at ACE or Master, Advanced CE or Master CE, that you may be hit in October or November based on either your personal sales or your team at that month. But then maybe in January, you were at a lead. You got paid as a lead because that's what your team, what the qualification markers you hit for that month. So it varies month to month, your paid as rank, and then your lifetime rank will always maintain at the highest level you've ever achieved. And that's like when you go to Inspire and things like that, that rank will be noted on your name tags and all of that, which is great. Does that make sense to that? So like you have a monthly, so each month you get paid based on what your team or you did in that month. So you might be only a qualified compassion entrepreneur because you had, $1,000 in sales for the month, but you might, but before you've been paid at a higher level. Yeah. Thank you. That's a good question. One that I forgot to include. Thank you. That's important. And that's why too, we want it to be consistent. And I'll be honest, even at director level, it's really great. Come in some of our peak seasons like April, May, and October, November. We definitely see a lot of promotions happening because those are our peak retail seasons, but promotions happen every month, which I love to celebrate and shout out. But just keep in mind that when you hit those two, it's really great to be that tortoise also in building up a consistent team and seeing that growth in your team. Again, not just the high flying months and then you feel discouraged in your other months. You're just like, oh, we're not doing it. I'm not making it. My team's not making it. And again, it's not about that. It's not about, we don't want that discouragement to come in to steal your joy, because if you're growing at a good, consistent, steady pace, that's going to stay that way for you over time. So I hope that helps. And with the whole brand ambassador conversation and stuff happening, all these individuals that may be joining this month looking at that, they're still CEs. They have the opportunities. Currently, there's no special program. I mean, they can all start along this plan too. So maybe over time, as some of them learn more about what we're doing and what we have available to them, maybe there'll be some other changes and shifts in their mindset too, which would be really exciting and cool. But it's a cool way to invite people into our work at the time, based on our social selling world that we're in. But, okay, anyone else? We have about 4 minutes left available. Anyone? So glad you ladies were able to take time tonight. And like I said, I would love feedback too, if it was helpful or not, you can message me. But I think that's a pretty basic overview, like I said, and just understanding you can be doing the same consistent effort, but it can make a difference if you have a team starting with you. And if it has helped you shift on any of your own goals or needs, like I said, I would love to know that, to support you however we can. Yes, pray for growth and bravery. Yes, that 20 minutes of insane, or 20 seconds of insane courage. Definitely pray for that. And just that people that I think to just an awareness, right? When you are at parties, really just listening, to people that are saying, oh, I'm, just about maybe there's life transitions happening for people, or people have desires for vacations, or, medical bills, or need, there's so many things that individuals are going through, that we are really part of a company that gives hope in a lot of different ways, not just financially, but emotionally. I know that was a big thing for Steph Taylor coming out of her cancer and her remission with, or her recovery and everything with that. And so you never know how this could speak to someone. So just having just an attentiveness and good listening skills when you're with people, and that prompting. But, or maybe for you, Beth, when you're in your doctor's appointments and listening to nurses and stuff talk about things, the connections you can make there. You never know. Maybe you already have. But, well, thank you, friends. I want to honor, oh, Chris, it's okay. Yes, the home parties and the hosting. I know summertime can get a little tricky. I definitely find that I'm doing more weeknight things in the summer, at least up here in Minnesota, where we have cabin fever and people going out. But yeah, or this is a great time. I do several vendor events in the summer, just trying to make new connections and getting out with people. Nice PT lady, see? You never know. And Chris says, I love the connector role. I tapped into that today at a vendor event. Nice. Yes. Women want to support women, and people want to help other people. I think we need to remember that too. Even when we get a bunch of the no's or discouragement from things, like there are people out there that want to help. And I was just talking to someone today too about, she was just feeling a lot of discouragement with people saying they were interested in joining and then they backed out and said for other reasons. And I said, remember that there's still just potentials and you're doing what you can. What you can control is just asking them to take a look. You have no control over the outcome of that. But by you doing your part, you should feel happy and content with what you're able to do. And just know that, again, the numbers over time will work in that favor the more you ask. But yeah, it was just a good reminder that, I don't know, we all play different parts though. And even if those individuals don't end up being CEs, they still see a bit of our mission. And we really want to just do our job of giving them the opportunity and laying that out for them and making sure we're clear about it. I think sometimes too, a confused mind says no. And so if there is a no, then dig a little deeper, be like, well, can I bring clarity to that for you? Or is there something that is still unclear? Just trying to help work through that, because I think that's a big part of it sometimes for people. The dental hygienist, she rough with your teeth, rough with your mouth. It is hard to have a conversation with your dental hygienist, I'll be honest. Any conversation when they're taking your mouth, I just want to share with you. Nice. Yeah. And people, yes, that's something I want to get better at too. With my customers, giving them maybe 1 or 2 business cards, even after we check out, or if I do thank you notes, send them some, because people are going to say, hey, I love that bracelet, or I love that. Yeah, spread the love, spread the word, girl. That's a great idea. I always can't have those on hand. I can't tell you, there have been twice now I've yelled at my husband because we've been out. I'm at fault too. I'm like, you need to have my cards in your wallet. And he didn't, but then I didn't have them on either, so I can't really blame him too badly. But you need to carry those things at all times. You never know. You never know. But, oh, your smiles are so great tonight. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a great week. Look forward to hopefully connecting with some of you later and following up with me on this. And if there's anything else, just let me know. But I'll push this recording in the group. So if you have teammates that weren't able to get on, or you think this might be beneficial for just a quick overview, and I will link the PDF from the toolbox so you can have access to, and you can even read more details about the different roles that might be helpful to you. All right. Have a good night. Thank you all.